Redmi Note 5 has been ignored largely for its camera because of its single sensor setup in 2018. And it has got competition not only from outsiders but from Xiaomi itself, the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Plus the company itself is not bragging too much about Note 5's camera, which wasn't the case with Redmi Note 4 back then. I know Redmi Note 5 Pro isn't priced that far more, but still if you're deciding to buy this one and still interested in its camera produce, then I think this video might help you guys. Hey guys, Vinith here, you're watching V Diaries and this is my camera review of Redmi Note 5. Let's begin. Few days back I have made a gaming review of this phone and I was impressed with its gaming performance. Before jumping into the camera specs, if you do end up liking this video, then don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to my channel for more quality tech content. Many thanks to my good friend Sagar from TechWorks for this unit. His channel links are in the description below. Redmi Note 5. Even with the single camera lens at the back, it is appealing for most of the people out there for two reasons. First, more chances of actually buying the phone in that flash sale, and secondly, the price difference. Even with the display improvement, Xiaomi has managed to keep the price point less, which itself is a smart move to attract people who don't want to spend more just for the dual camera setup. Redmi Note 5 comes in two variants, 3GB 32GB that will cost you 10,000 rupees and 4GB 64GB which will cost you 12,000 rupees. I have placed the links to purchase those in the video description. Do use them to support my channel at no extra cost. You can just bookmark them into your browser. The rear camera setup on Redmi Note 5 consists of 12 megapixel single sensor that has f2.2 aperture, which is narrower than most of the smartphone cameras out there. It has 1.25 micron larger pixel size, which means it has larger photo detectors in the CMOS sensor, which results into better detailed images. The rear camera has neither optical nor electronic stabilization, and it uses face detection autofocus for focusing, which seems slow at times. It is accompanied by a dual LED flash and that basically sums the backyard party. The rear camera is capable of shooting 4K videos at 30 frames per second. But wait, at 1080p also, the frame rate is restricted to 30 frames per second, which is kind of a bummer. It shows slow-mo at 720p and you also get to record time-lapse directly from the stock camera application. The front camera on Redmi Note 5 is a 5 megapixel shooter with a dedicated LED flash, which is an add-on for this price. It is capable of shooting 1080p videos at less than 30 frames per second. The standard MIUI camera application has remained unchanged and you'll feel like home if you have used a Xiaomi device before that had MIUI. Let's now dive into the actual camera samples. Please note that I have clicked all these images in auto settings mode and I will mention wherever I have used the HDR mode, since the application itself apparently does not have auto HDR settings. After looking at the first few images, you'll notice that the camera on Note 5 clicks good images in good lighting conditions. The color saturation is little bit on the higher end, but the dynamic color range is good and it really tries to bring true color tones to the objects. The HDR mode does bring more details into the image and I'm quite happy with the produce from 10,000 rupees smartphone camera. Just by playing with the on-screen brightness, you can get some good range of images. In artificial and slightly low lighting conditions, the camera produces good images. The HDR mode also clicks sharper images, but only if you have steady hands. In low light, the HDR mode keeps the shutter open for a longer time to capture more details. So if you move the camera immediately after you tap the shutter button, then it might result into shaky image. The noise is there as expected, but the amount of noise is less even with the extreme low light conditions. Moving to the macro shots, I was least expecting the bokeh due to that f2.0 aperture, but the detailing it brought to that focus part is surprising to some extent. The bokeh looks natural with Note 5 produce. Obviously with Note 5 Pro you'll have support of that second lens for the portraits, but I'm quite happy with the bokeh Note 5 brought to these images. Looks natural. Moving to the video samples, let's see the 4K footage here. The stabilization brought to you by the software. With lesser FPS, the moving objects looks distorted and doesn't feel soothing to the eyes. Moving to the 5 megapixel front facing camera, I think Xiaomi has done a great job here too. When you just start to think about the lesser megapixel, the result tells a different story. The color saturation and details are obviously less than the main camera, but I'm happy with the end results. Not too good, not too bad is what I'll say. The selfies in dark places produce hell lot of noise. With the front facing flash you get some action, but that is not sufficient in my opinion. Let's check the 1080p footage from the front facing camera of Redmi Note 5. Redmi Note 5. So this I think this will give you a real life scenario. So this kind of exposure adjustment that it does to different lighting conditions, and with 5 megapixel I think Redmi has done some kind of a magic, because on screen what I'm looking at right now looks promising. So once this footage will go into the system, then I'll be able to comment on this, but I'm quite happy with what it has to offer. As you saw, the footage was quite good and looks practical in my opinion. So the conclusion is the rear setup on Redmi Note 5 does have an improvement over Redmi Note 4, and I'm quite surprised with the image quality and the color tone, especially at this price. The front facing shooter doesn't look like a substantial upgrade from Note 4 on paper at least, but the quality of images and video is kind of fair. I hope this video gave you a fair idea about the camera quality on Redmi Note 5. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Like, share, subscribe. This has been Vinith, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!